Hey, what is happening, YouTube? Dev Toted Out. So I've been VOD reviewing the Salt Lake City Regional Championship over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AzulGG. First thing in the description, give it a click, give it a follow. I stream every day except Mondays. And I'm going to be cutting up that footage of me VOD reviewing the footage of Salt Lake City Regional Championships and putting it over here on the YouTube channel for you guys all to catch. I'll be cutting it up round by round and posting the videos here on the YouTube channel, probably like 2 videos a day or something like that, because there's quite a few rounds to go through, and they're pretty easy to cut up and put over here on the YouTube channel, so you guys can check this out as well. The one thing I did want to say, though, and I'll probably be only having this intro in this first video here, but I do use terms like bad and terrible when I see people on the stream making what I would consider a bad or a terrible play. But I just want you guys to know that I have nothing against the players making those plays. They all deserve the placements and finishes they got, and if you just make a bad or terrible play, and I think it's a bad or terrible play, I'm just going to call it a bad or a terrible play. But it's nothing against the players or how they finish in the tournament or anything like that. They all deserve their placements. Nothing personal against any of the players. I just use those terms. Sometimes people think I use the terms I use are a little bit too harsh, but I think it's just not that big of a deal. But I just want to get that out of there ahead of the videos and just say I have nothing against any of the players who I ended up VOD reviewing. They just made some bad and terrible plays, and I'm just going to say it when I see it. And that's basically it. So before we get into this first round of the tournament, I'm going to give a big shout out as always to Full Grip Games. And if you guys need cards or codes, go check them out at fullgripgames.com and fullgripcodes.com, especially if you want to support everything I do over here on the YouTube channel and over on my Twitch stream. Check them out. And that's going to do it for me. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the VOD review and do some learning. Not terrible. All right, so we're starting with round 4. And we've got Rahul ready with Arceus Inteleon. And then John Foster with the Mew VMAX. Both 3-0. And Rahul, a very important card in the matchup, or one that can be very important if you play it, is the Sydney. And Rahul prized that off the start. So that's like not a great initial prize. I'm covering up some of the prize cards on John's side, but there's nothing super important here prize. A Meloetta. There's a Fusion Strike Energy prize, so that's, I guess, could be pretty important. You can't get to the quad Fusion Strike Energy play, but should be fine. Actually, plays cross switchers, so apparently John plays cross switchers still. I haven't seen that in a while. That was like a early what's it called thing, early Mew thing, I think, or I feel like, but I haven't seen it for a while. Probably plays 4 cross switcher, 2 boss as gust effects, and probably 1 boss, 1 cross switcher. So it's gonna be hard for them to pull off gust effects early on here, which is a pretty big deal in the Arceus matchup to start like gusting their Arceus. Looks like John won the coin flip going first, so we're gonna see some Mews, some Genesects, and we'll see what else he plans to set up. Grabs Meloetta plus Mew. I don't really love the Meloetta grab. So the Meloetta grab here isn't great because you know, or you should know, you prize the Fusion Strike Energy. So you can still kind of bluff the quad Fusion Strike Energy, but it's much better to set up a board state of like triple Mew, triple Genesect, because then you can actually go into like a leap loop scenario where like Arceus hits you and you leap into a new Mew VMAX and then you set them up for a 2-hit KO, and then maybe they Sharon's Care and then they hit your Mew and you're like, okay, I'll leap loop again. And you can kind of repeat that. So you can kind of repeat that. So I don't like the Meloetta bench here. You should always check your prize cards. This is like one of the reasons checking your prize cards is important, because you can go triple Genesect, triple Mew here instead, which is like way more powerful when you don't have access to the quad Fusion Strike Energy. And then as you kind of leap loop or your opponent takes a knockout, you'll get access to a bench space for the Meloetta anyway. So it's not like you're deprived of pen space the whole game. So yeah, Meloetta bench here is not great. Opens a Genesect actually. Gets an energy off the Fog Crystal, so still playing basic energies. And grabs that, which is coincidentally pretty good up against Rahul, because Rahul plays the Sydney, so there's like less special energy to be dealt with through the Sydney. Genesects for a couple there. I'm not a huge fan of Fog Crystal for Psychic Energy though, if you're not going to fill up your bench. I usually like to fill my bench first, but without DTE, I guess it's a little bit more important to get that basic energy down. Holds the Stadium, which is correct. I saw a Stadium in the hand there for John, so it's correct to like hold the Stadium. Oh, they drew one too many cards. So even they think even they thought they had a full bench there. So drew 6 instead of 4. And I guess we'll wait and see what the situation is. Okay, so they looks like they determined that is the card. And it looks like they are going to put it back on top of the deck and then shuffle the deck. Okay, it looks like maybe no prize penalty. We'll see what happens here. Oh, for these kind of situations, I always like it when I always advocate for no prize penalty in these situations. I don't think John was doing that maliciously. They just thought they were drawing 6. That's what you're usually drawing with the Mew deck. So yeah, so hopefully no prize penalty here. We'll see. Are they getting out fresh sleeves? Is one of their sleeves ripped as well? We'll see, taking their time once again. So once again, like I said, I don't like the Meloetta grab here. That probably should have been a Mew V. Okay, the deck is back. Looks like no prize penalty. Now a quick ball comes out to get rid of an ultra ball. You definitely want to try and avoid. I can't see the rest of the hand, but you actually want to try and keep as many quick ball and ultra ball around as much as possible to continuously be able to thin out your hand to be able to draw more cards. Even if it looks like you're not going to use the ultra ball, you generally don't want to quick ball ultra balls or ultra ball quick balls. You want to try and find other targets. So if it means using ultra ball over quick ball over ultra ball, you want to actually use quick ball over ultra ball to like get rid of one card and then not ultra ball. It depends on what's in your hand and what you're trying to do on the turn, like how aggressive you're trying to draw cards. But generally, you want to keep ultra balls and quick balls in the hand so you can continuously thin out the hand to draw more cards with your next Genesect and so on. So I can't see the hand, but I think it's a common mistake people make with Mew is quick balling their ultra balls or ultra balling their quick balls when you should actually just try and quick ball like another dead card and hold the ultra ball or something like that for future turns, for future thinning of the hand to draw more cards with Genesect. So gets another Mew V in play. Definitely correct target. Looks like we're going to be getting 3 now, or maybe 4. Looks like 3 cards. It has a stadium in hand, like I mentioned, so it has that to play around Path to the Peak. Should Rahul find a turn Path to the Peak, going over to Rahul. So Rahul's going to be looking for double Arceus. Wants to just get 2 Arceus on the bench. Anything else that they can find around it is great. Opening the Bidoof is like fine. You'd rather probably have a Sobble in the active. Could even look for maybe trying to get a Keep Calling happening, but I don't know how many switch cards that Rahul actually plays. So I can actually pull up Rahul's list over here. Give me 1 second. So 0 switch cards. There's 0 switch cards in the deck. There's just 2 scoop up net. So can get off the Keep Calling potentially. And yeah, is going for the Keep Calling. This does mean you do have to kind of try and follow up with and there's the Path to the Peak. This does mean you do have to try and follow up with a Melanie play, but there's no Arceus found here. So I guess the Keep Calling, no Arceus, so no potential of Arceus V-Star next turn. So now for John, this is actually where, if I was John, you just want to knock out the Sobble. You just want to play it slow and knock out Sobble here. We'll see what John actually ends up doing, because if you use a boss on the Crobat or any kind of Gust Effect, you have less Gust Effects to try and close out the game later. So this is where you can turn the game into a 2-2-1-1 prize trade, where you KO 2 1-prizers, and this allows you to almost open up turns where you can like pressure their Shady Dealings and take away their options on their future turns. And when you already remove a Sobble from play, knowing there's a Sobble prize because they kept calling and didn't grab one, but they maybe didn't grab. It's possible Rahul didn't grab a Sobble here because they want to keep the bench space open to go double Arceus next turn. So actually, I guess this isn't for sure confirmed there's a Sobble prize. And to be honest, actually, there definitely could not be 1 prize here. But if I'm John here, I don't want to use a Gust Effect because I want to save my Gust Effect to pressure the Arceus later on in the game, because it definitely could get to a point where there's no like other 2 prizes to Gust later in the game anyways if you chase a Crobat now. So you definitely don't want to see the Crobat chased here as John. I think you just want to take the knockout on the Sobble, maybe go chase the Bidoof later or a Drizzile to take away the option of the Shady Dealings Inteleon. We'll see. VMAX from John, then an Ultra Ball, getting rid of Peony, and I can't tell what the other card is though, but Peony's pretty good in this matchup because it allows you to not only find stadiums to like get out of Path to the Peak, but it also allows you to get big tablet plays off, so which can be a pretty big deal in this matchup actually, the big tablet play. So I don't know what the other options would have been. There's an Escape Rope, another Sobble comes up. I mean, this is fine. You just want to get to a Sobble anyways. There's the Rose Tower bump, and then Rose Tower for 2. Just needs to find an energy really here. Found a Choice Belt, throws it on the active Mew. I'm fine with that placement. I think like when the Arceus finally comes up, you could get a 1-hit KO with this Mew. Seems reasonable. First Genesect for a couple here. On a quick ball. Once again, quick ball to quick ball. And like I said, I don't love this. I can't see what the whole hand is, but I don't like quick balling away quick balls because you want to quick ball away something else so that way if the next quick ball can keep your hand moving. And even then, sometimes you run into hands where you just can't move the hands. I had that happen multiple times where I just had just hands that couldn't move because I had already used all my quick balls and ultra balls. So you always want to try and keep those around. Another choice belt on the Mew. Would it ever be better on the Meloetta? I guess the question is probably better on the Mew, especially if he knows by now that he prized the Fusion Strike energies. Looks like drew into a Fusion Strike energy here, so we'll be able to attack. And there's an Elsa Sparkle as well. Okay, Rahul catches him, make sure he picks the targets. Now there is only one or two Fusion Strike energy in the deck, so I wouldn't have hated. I don't know what John's list looks like, but you should. I mean, you know there's a Fusion Strike energy prize, so you maybe just shouldn't attach this one to the Meloetta, because to make this next Mew attack, you might need the extra energy. Although this does mean that if you get the Fusion Strike energy off the prize card, you're just kind of ready to go and can start one-hit KOing anything. So it's probably correct to put on the Meloetta. It's just kind of like a thought to have, is like, you want to keep your odds open of it to being able to attack with your Mew. Once again, I don't know if John has actually checked their prize cards at this point, so I don't know if they know that the Fusion Strike energy is prized. They went for the Meloetta off the rip that aggressively, so I assume not. Because otherwise you'd want to like set up like triple Mew instead. All right, over to Rahul. A turn behind, but not out of it for sure. Once Arceus kind of sets up, you get the Charon's Care involved and stuff like that. And you can set up like board states where you kind of lock out your opponent of the game and can get, I mean, Pat to the Peak could stick at any point. There is a Pat to the Peak in Rahul's hand. This is why I kind of want to see John try and hold off on like discarding the Peony and stuff. But John's like super set up at this point and doesn't actually need, John doesn't actually need to like do anything this next turn. Like as far as drawing cards goes, just needs to kind of attack. So I mean, we'll see what John's hand is. I'm curious to see if Rahul goes for a Trinity charge. You kind of have to, I guess, because if you only have one Arceus in play, then that Arceus is just going to get KO'd. So you kind of have to go for a Trinity charge here, I guess, as Rahul. It doesn't feel great because you know it's just going to get knocked out. But I guess it could depend on the hand as well. If you feel like you could pull off the Melanie play next turn, but I guess that's what it comes down to, really. A couple coins were flipped. I have no idea why. Why did he roll the dice twice there? Am I missing? Oh, he used the attack on Sabal. I was like, why did that happen? All right, so now the boss play is going to happen from John here. The Gust Effect play is going to attempt to be happening from John here, though. Bring up the bench Arceus with the DTE, knock it out. Because Rahul didn't use Trinity Charge there. And I can't see Rahul's hand, but I'm pretty sure there's no water in the discard pile yet. So that makes things like... And also makes me feel like Rahul maybe should have just gone with the Trinity Charge there to set up the Arceus. John's has 5 prize cards left, so giving them a 2 prize Pokemon is almost the same thing as giving them a 1 prize Pokemon here. John's going to have to boss anyways. So if Rahul leaves the Sobble in the active, John goes, okay, knockout. Can go knockout Sobble, boss Crobat, KO and Arceus V, star, whatever, win the game. But if Rahul sends up, or they could go boss from here. Boss. I guess it'd be boss. It would be like boss KO active. That feels more awkward. But it does open the opportunity for John to like just go KO the Arceus. And it also means Rahul has to Melanie next turn, which means if John has like the boss KO on the Arceus, it means Rahul has to Melanie next turn, which means John can play around that and be like, my hand is sticky next turn. So if I can get boss KO on Arceus V here, then they have to use Melanie next turn, which means on my next turn, I can play to 1-hit KO that Arceus V and then boss KO any of these small Pokemon off the bench to close out the game. But if Rahul goes attack with the Arceus V this turn with the Trinity Charge, then next turn Rahul can go Marnie Path and potentially stop them from getting like a big 1-hit KO. Like they don't have as much time to set up their hand. Let's have like a fresh 4 random cards. And sure, you could like, I don't know if John plays Rotom Phone or not. I would assume no. John could like Rotom Phone a Stadium to the top of the deck, but like you don't have like a hand set up with Power Tap as a KO, a V-Star or something. So I think from Rahul's side, I would have liked to have seen the Trinity Charge. I think Trinity Charge just makes more sense. It gives you way more options, and it doesn't let John like set up a super clean play where it's just going to be back-to-back knockouts. Like John having a Gust Effect here is pretty likely. And then being able to set up the hand around Power Tablets or a quad Fusion Strike energy play is also likely. So I think Rahul had to play for Trinity Charge, or should have played for Trinity Charge into Marnie, on the next turn. I mean, if John ever gets quad Fusion Strike energy in play here, Rahul kind of just loses as well. So Rahul also needs to have the, like if the 4th Fusion Strike energy comes down here, Rahul just loses. So on Rahul's side as well, if you do the Trinity Charge play, it allows you to boss KO Meloetta on the following turn, and then next turn go with the Marnie path play. So you actually get to remove the 4th Fusion Strike energy from play and not just get ran over by Melodious Echo. So that would also opens up another route. So I think Trinity Charge there was like definitely a better option there from Rahul. But we'll see what the draw here from or the play here from John looks like. Plays double tablet. Okay, so it doesn't have a Gust Effect yet. So now it's going to be low on tablet. So this is like a weird play from John to play the tablets. I mean, this just means, see, like John could have gone like KO Sabo hold tablets as well. I mean, then you play a little bit into Marnie Pass. So you don't want to do that. You do want the Gust Effect play, but That's kind of unfortunate to lose double tablets there. That definitely is going to hurt. Evolution Incense as well. So not just relying on the Ultra Balls to find the evolutions, but I guess he does play the Peony, so it doesn't make sense to play one of those. Just like again for 1. It looks like maybe no Gust Effect to be found. Okay, Ultra Ball away 2 Elsa's Sparkles. Fail on the Ultra Ball, and then I think it has 1 more Genesect to draw cards with. We'll see. Do they get the Gust Effect? It looks like no. That did not look like... Okay, Peony. Gonna be able to get double Cross Switcher now, but lost a Cross Switcher, and then also is like basically out of tablet. So, I mean, this doesn't put Rahul in as terrible a spot. So I would have liked to have seen like John just play slower here. I think John's playing too fast. So if you get the Gust Effect, it's great. You KO the Arceus. But as soon as you have to expend all of your tablets like that, you're running out of ways to get one-hit KOs on Arceus. And John should know by now that their Fusion Strike energy is prized. So you do get this KO, and then maybe that's what John is just kind of playing for. It's like, okay, KO the bench Arceus V, and then get the Fusion Strike energy off the prize cards, and then you one-hit KO the V-Star that way. I guess that's a fine route to take overall. I don't know. You could have also just KO'd active and held tablets and guaranteed to have a way to one-hit KO Arceus V-Star on the next turn. You would have guaranteed to have a way to one-hit KO the Arceus V-Star on the next turn, which I like a little bit more, guaranteeing the knockout on the Arceus V-Star next turn. Or guaranteed having an option. Now you lose that option. And sure, for Rahul like Marnie's you might not drop back into the tablets, but I'd rather have that option than not have it. Now you just don't have the option of a tablet play anymore. Brings up the Arceus V-Star, and and then goes with Melodious Echo here, which is definitely a mistake here from John. Attacking with the Melodious Echo is definitely a mistake, because now you're out of tablets, and then you're feeding Rahul one of your Fusion Strike energy. You have to make Rahul work for the Fusion Strike energy here. So by setting up the Meloetta and attacking with Meloetta here, you basically give Rahul the and actually did John even play? No, he definitely did. For some reason I thought Arceus V had 280 HP. I thought it was a V-Star for a second. I was like, did John even play enough tablets to KO this? No, but it's a V, so it only has 220. So this is a mistake here from John. You have to attack with Mew here. If you attack with Meloetta here, you just feed Rahul a Fusion Strike energy, and you played like triple tablet this turn, so you actually have no way to KO a V-Star anymore, and you're just gonna lose unless you get lucky on unless you get lucky to find your last couple Gust Effects, and which John only has 2 left. I assume John plays 2 boss, 4 Cross Switcher, 3 Cross Switcher in the discard pile. There could be a boss in there as well, to be honest. So John has 2 boss left. But at this point, I feel like Rahul, I mean, if they can find the boss, they will win the game first, but they have to be able to find the boss. They're already down quite a few stadiums. They're down the Peony, which is a help to find stadium. They have one of their boss prized. And even though they didn't have access to the 4th Fusion Strike energy here, you don't attack with Meloetta here, because there is a possibility you pull it off the prize card, so you should never actually attack with Meloetta here. This is always a mistake here to attack with Meloetta. And you have to force your opponent to respect your Fusion Strike energy. That's one of the things that people who generally play Mew just don't understand. In every matchup, one of the things you can force your opponent to play a certain way because of Fusion Strike energy. They either choose to respect them and have to remove some from play, or they ignore them and hope you just can't find the 4th. But you can force them down one of those routes like every single game is Mew. And that's one of the biggest things about Mew, whether it be in the mirror match or up against anything else. If you just you can always force your opponent to respect your Fusion Strike energy. And then they have to make that choice. Do I try and KO something that has the Fusion Strike energy, or do I just let them ride it out with the 3 and hope they don't find the 4th? But when John gives Rahul this Meloetta, you lose that play here and lose that option. All right, Rahul sends up Sobble, which I don't know why Rahul sent up the Sobble. I think you're always attacking with the Arceus here. I'm not sure why Rahul sent up the Sobble here, because you may as well just keep the energy in play. Now you're just going to lose the energy on your Sobble. So there's basically no reason to send up the Sobble here. So Rahul can set up for a pretty big play here. You can go for the Melanie to the Arceus. You'll have the DTE after the Starbirth happens. You should be able to get Path to the Peak in play as well. Okay, there was a Water Energy in the discard pile. I didn't think there was, but it's hard to see everything. And then you'll be able to actually potentially Path to the Peak as well. There's another Arceus, so you have something to Trinity Charge 2. Check for the other Arceus V-Star in the deck, it looked like, or check that there was one. Training coordinate it back. I was wondering how that got back to his hand. Has the big... So the big charm here is probably a mistake from Rahul, because John can't KO Arceus, I don't think, at this point. I'm pretty sure there's 3 tablet in the discard pile on John's side. I don't think John can KO an Arceus V-Star here. So this big charm should actually probably be put on the Arceus V, or even just held to maybe put on the Crobat after you evolve to the... I guess the Crobat wouldn't matter. Crobat always gets knocked out by Genesect, so... But putting it on the Arceus V-Star, I'm pretty sure does absolutely nothing at this point. I'm pretty sure there's 3 tablet in the discard pile. So you should just hold the big charm here as Rahul. It's just kind of a waste to have it on this Arceus V-Star. I'm pretty sure there's 3 tablet in John's discard pile. So you should hold it, or you can put it on your Arceus V, because that's going to become the target from John. If John has a boss this turn, John's going to go boss KO the Arceus V. So you should probably put the big charm on the Arceus V. I'm pretty sure there's 3 tablet in John's discard pile. It's kind of a wasted big charm here from Rahul. Gets the pat to the peak as well. And then knockout. And we're going to probably load up 1 or 2 energy. We'll see. Oh, goes with the Shady Dealings. Okay. Okay, gets another big charm. So you could have actually big charm. You could still big charm the Crobat. The big charm on the Crobat doesn't really matter. But it could matter towards the end of the game, where DTE is the only playable energy from John, and then that reduces the damage that Genesect does by 20, so you'd be hitting for 190, which actually means you're not knocking out Crobat. I guess it depends if the choice belts are still in play, which they probably wouldn't be, so it probably wouldn't matter on the Crobat, but it definitely makes no sense, I don't think, on the active here, so... but it gets the other big charm and puts it on the Arceus, but now loses access to a Shady Dealings next turn, right? And then loses access to a Shady Dealings to a Drizzile next turn by going to get the second big charm, so... It's triple water out of the deck, so it completely thins out the deck, basically, and then has the double Arceus set up. Gets... I don't know what they got off the prize cards there. Yeah. But now Rahul's plans just keep swinging, and then find Charon's Care, probably. You probably need to find Charon's Care at some point. John is still not in a terrible spot, because John is a boss away from winning, or 2-hit KO and Arceus V-Star into boss KO one of these one-prize Pokemon. And Rahul can't get all of them off the board, so... But I would definitely favor Rahul at this point. I think John is definitely overextended, and we're probably just going to see a hit here. Yep, there's the hit. There's a B-Barrel from Rahul. There comes an Ultra Ball, and then definitely needs to try and find Charon's Care if it's in the deck. It's not prize, and I don't think it's gotten discarded, so it should be in the deck somewhere. But doesn't have a Shady Dealings to work with now all of a sudden, so it could be a little bit harder to find. Can also just retreat the Arceus and hit with the fresh Arceus. That is a possibility. There's the net on the Drizzile, and it is the retreat play. But this all comes back to Rahul kind of getting punished for wasting that Shady Dealings, right? If you don't waste the Shady Dealings, you Shady Dealings this turn, you can net or Charon's Care reset this Arceus. If you want to, I guess you probably just want to reset that, to be honest, because then you can retreat the next one and hide it on the bench. But you need to Charon's Care at some point, and ideally it would have been last turn. Rahul is at 5 prize cards, though, so Rahul is just kind of a 2-hit KO on a Mew VMAX plus a boss on a Genesect away from winning the game. So Rahul's not far from actually winning this game at this point. There's the hit for the 200 because it has the triple water. Back over to John. I don't even think John can hit this turn. Wait, can John attack like that? What did John use? What attack did John use last turn? Oh, use Max Miracle. Okay. I was like confused for... Wait, why is it 170? Oh, they use Melodious Echo? Do they use Melodious Echo? Man, I'm so confused. How is there 170 damage on this thing? It should be 160, right? Or am I missing something? Melodious Echo would have done... Oh, no, Melodious Echo does 170. I did the math in my head wrong initially. Okay, Melodious Echo now hit with the Genesect, I believe, Techno Blast. Okay, Charon's Care was discarded earlier. There's the Pal Pad, though. Shady Dealings gets the Charon's Care. Okay, so you can reset the active Arceus here. Actually, you maybe have to reset the bench one, to be honest. It depends if Rahul has a DTE in hand. Because if you reset the active one, I don't think this one's going to be attacking accelerating any water energy. So you might need to reset the bench one so you can actually reuse the DTE. We'll see what Rahul actually ends up picking up here. And then kind of just letting the active one get knocked out. But then you're just a boss away. Yeah, resets the bench one because he needs the DTE. But then you're just a boss away on Rahul's side. Now you're ahead in the prize exchange as Rahul. Now you're just a boss away. And throughout all of this... throughout all of this... Rahul never Marnied John, which is definitely a possibility. And that's what I was talking about. Like, John could have just chilled. And that's what Mew players don't know how to do, is literally just chill. And that's what you need to do. You just need to chill. You just want options. The options in Mew are so powerful. And even though you lose options, your other options are still going to be very powerful. But you may as well just have more options. So when you get into weird situations... or situations that your opponent's going to try and put you in, you'll have an answer for it. But instead, John kind of goes all out and then attacks with the wrong attacker and then is put in a really bad spot. And now is in a situation where they actually lose the prize trade. The Goon is grabbed from Rahul here, which sets it up, actually, so Rahul does just win with a boss next turn. Oh wait, there's the Oricorio now, so not quite, I guess. But we don't even know if, I don't even think John has an energy. Yeah, there's the concede. So in that first one, I mean, a little sloppy play on both sides. Rahul, I think, could have used, like, I think the biggest thing was Rahul just not using Trinity Charge. I think Rahul really opened themselves up to getting, like, potentially ran over and never having the potential to use a Marnie. So I think Rahul really should have used Trinity Charge on that turn prior to give themselves more options on the next turn. Because as soon as you don't use Trinity Charge there as Rahul, you just let John have 2 turns to set up their hand and basically fully thin out their deck, set up one play into another turn of just fully thinning out their deck, and then you end up in a situation where you just lose because you can't Marnie them out of the game anymore. So it would have allowed John to get that knockout on basically anything they wanted to set up, or if they get the knockout on the Arceus, which you should expect from Rahul. Rahul should be like, okay, you probably have a boss or a gust effect to KO my Arceus here. So I should Trinity Charge. I give you the Arceus, but then I get the Trinity Charge set up, and then I get to use Marnie Path next turn. But if you don't do that, then if John has the boss KO and then sets up their hand for a big one-hit KO on the Arceus on the following turn, then they're just a boss away. And on that final turn where they take the KO on the Arceus V-Star, they can just like full thin out their deck and make it so their deck is basically just bosses orders left, which Mew can do really well on the last turn of the game. If you play your cards correctly, though, and I feel like on John's side, John definitely discarded too many Quick Balls and Ultra Balls with Quick Balls and Ultra Balls. There probably was better targets in the hand. And that's what you actually want to try and do, is don't Quick Ball and Ultra Ball away your Quick Balls and Ultra Balls as much as possible in Mew, because you want to save those so that when you draw, even if you're drawing one less card off Genesect, now you're drawing, you know, let's say instead of 5, you're drawing 4 cards because you use Quick Ball away 1 card instead of Ultra Ball away the Quick Ball and that card. Now when you draw those 4 cards, you can Ultra Ball away 2 of those, and then your next Genesect draws 3 or 4 cards, right? So, but otherwise you kind of get stuck, and then you get what's it called? Stuck hands. You can't thin out your deck as aggressively. So, and then on John's side, big mistake by attacking with the Meloetta. And then I think just overextending their tablets took away a ton of their options by attacking with on that turn when they attacked with Meloetta and played down all their tablets. Like, you just like play it slower. You whiff the gust effect. That's fine. Play it slower. Take the knockout on the active, keep the tablets, and then Rahul went into Rahul's turn, wasn't able to like play a Marnie or anything like that, had to play more aggressively. You have all those tablets, you play all the tablets, you want to KO the V-Star, and then you're just a boss KO away on the Crobat to close out the game. So definitely an overextension there from John. Also would have been able to keep the Peony as an answer to Path to the Peak as well. So definitely a big just overextension from John there. Should have just taken the Sobble KO and kind of chilled. John, of course, gets to go first. And going first, like, you're just setting up for a turn 2 KO on an Arceus, wherever it is. Immediately grabs the Meloetta. And I didn't check the prize cards here. Let's check they showed the prize cards again, right? Let's see if it's... Okay, so has all 4 Fusion Strike energy in the deck this time, so it's way better to grab Meloetta here. And on Rahul's side, prize the Crobat, which is, like, the only thing... Oh, and the Charon's Care. So 2... Crobat is, like, potentially a big prize card. It just depends if you need it on the first 2 turns. If not, having it prize here is almost better, because then in the late game, you'll have it for, like, that mid-game, late-game push for more cards. And then Charon's Care is actually a pretty big one. It's in the top 2 as well, so that could be a pretty big one. It means that if John doesn't ever want to hit an Arceus V-Star and not KO it, but now when John does do that, if you just don't have the Charon's Care as a response, John can be like, oh, okay, now I can like just take the 2-hit KO. It's harder to create a board state where you just have like 2 Arceus V-Stars in play, or one has Arceus V has like a big charm, and then you like can't get big 1-hit or 2 prize KOs anymore. So I like that'll be bad for Rahul. Of course, John is going to play like Charon's Care is there, so John is not going to try and try and get a 2-hit KO on an Arceus V-Star, even if it would be best knowing that if you knew the Charon's Care was prized, that would be the best play. You don't know the Charon's Care is prized, so you can't really make that play from John. You have to assume the Charon's Care is kind of there. Gets Meloetta, gets Mew. Looks like has an Ultra Ball. You sort of a tablet. I mean, I hate getting rid of tablets, but I don't know what the rest of the hand is, so it's hard for me to make a call on if there was a better card to discard. I mean, you can get away with like 2 tablets in the deck, especially with the basic energy build that John is playing. Like Choice Belt plus double tablet gets knockouts on V-Stars, whereas if you have a DTE, you need the triple tablet. So, wait, did I do that math right in my head? Yeah, I think I did that math right. But I can't see what the other 2 cards are, so I don't know if it's better to discard something else there. But tablets are pretty good. As soon as you run out of tablets, your opponent knows you're out of tablets. Like, attaches to Meloetta. Definitely don't like this. You always want to go with Mew on turn 2. This is a big mistake here from John. A lot of people think you just want to attack with Meloetta as soon as possible because it's a 1 prize versus a 3 prize, but it's better to protect your Fusion Strike energy as well. And yeah, you just don't want to attack with Meloetta, because in the Meloetta, you lose the Meloetta, you lose the Fusion Strike energy, and then you lose options, you lose outs. You always want to protect your Fusion Strike energy. So it's a pretty big mistake here from John on the first turn. Should have been on a Mew. Especially when you play the basic energy. I don't even know if John plays DTE. Ultra Ball from Rahul loses the B Barrel and a Drizzile. So there's only 3 Drizzile in this build from Rahul. So that's actually kind of big. Gets the Arceus. That's what you need. You need double Arceus turn 1. And John's board really isn't. And also by doing this, it means Rahul's benched Arceus is safe. Because you can't. Well, you could get the Meloetta KO on the benched Arceus, but you need like. Was it Choice Belt double tablet, right? So like, and you're already down a tablet. And even if they get that, Rahul's kind of fine with that because now you can't want to KO a V-Star anymore if Rahul gets the response of Arceus V-Star Melanie DTE, which is like not hard to do at all in the deck because you just basically need Starbirth. So, yeah, it's a pretty big. Like, once again, this goes back to like this choice from John is a pretty big, pretty big mistake overall, I think. Yeah, he does have cross switcher, but it's like still like then you need like the cross switchers as well. It just shouldn't be here. It just shouldn't be here. Because now you have to basically, unless you get the Choice Belt double tablet, then you have to like play Melanie and or Sparkle and then get the cross switchers. Whereas instead you could like peony for cross switchers or something. You just like lose options. All you want to do on this turn is KO the Arceus with the energy. That's literally all you want to do. So that way they can't Marnie Path you next turn and they have to Melanie, which means you get another turn to just KO. You get another turn to just hold your hand and you can like build up your hand and craft your hand the way you want it to just like respond to an Arceus V-Star or just boss KO another 2 prize Pokemon. But then if they get to do the Marnie Path play, you just end up in a situation where you're just getting random cards and you don't know what you're going to end up with. So you don't get to like keep your hand. So it's going to be the Trinity Charge from, so really good hand from Rahul. It's going to go with the Trinity Charge here. Gets the Big Charm down, so it's going to make it a little bit harder to get the knockout on the active. I like this. Gets the Ultra Ball, probably going to find a Sobble. Yeah, doesn't get to use Beebs this turn, so that's unfortunate. And then yeah, just Trinity Charge, 3 waters to the benched. Might go with 1 to the active. No, go 3 to the bench. It makes the most sense. Your active is, you should play like your active is going to get knocked out. I guess it might not. So yeah, pretty good draw here from Rahul. Get the Trinity Charge off as well. Training Core comes out immediately from John. And then John's going to try and set up for a knockout on Arceus here. Ideally, actually, you would want to try and KO the active with like quad Fusion Strike energy because then you don't have to worry about a Big Charm later on. So from John here, you want to see like a knockout on the active on the other Arceus. And another thing you can't set up here is John, which you could have set up if you did. Appreciate that raid there, Mahone. What's going on, bud? Over here, we're VOD reviewing Salt Lake City Regionals right now. Currently in round 4, first round of the tournament though, on the stream. Hope you had a good one, dude. Appreciate the raid. So a play that you can't make now that there's this Fusion Strike energy on Meloetta. If John doesn't put the Fusion Strike energy here, you could actually have attached it to the Mew, and then you could have actually gone with bench Oricorio and then use Elsa Sparkle on both Genesects. And you could have actually ended up with a Genesect with 2 energy, and then you put Oricorio in play, and then Rahul can't boss KO Genesect next turn unless he has the Choice Belt. But I guess if you have having the Choice Belt isn't that hard. But then they just KO a Genesect for turn, they don't even hit your Mew, so you still get that line of play as well. But yeah, the energy just shouldn't be here on the Meloetta. It's not good. And maybe should have even tried to get. John probably should have also tried to just put down a second Mew as well, because if you have 2 Mew here, you just don't need Meloetta until you don't know when you're gonna. You just don't know when you need Meloetta is the thing. So you just shouldn't have put Meloetta in play early. You should always grab like another Mew here. Because another play that John could have made, not only was it a mistake to put the energy on the Meloetta once you had the Meloetta. If you have the Meloetta in hand, it's fine, but I'm pretty sure he used the Battle VIP pass for it. So if you have double Mew here, you make them both Mew VMAXs, and then you put 2 Fusion Strike energy on each, and your Fusion Strike energy are just protected. And there's literally nothing Rahul can do about it, and you just have 4 Fusion Strike energy in play. And you're just like, okay, you can't do anything about it. And then once again, that comes back to the point of just like, you're just trying to make your opponent respect your Fusion Strike energy at all costs. And then they can't even do anything. You're not even like forcing them to KO one target over another with that. They just can't do anything about it. You just have 2 Mew VMAXs with 2 Fusion Strike energy each, and then you bench the Meloetta here in this last slot this turn, and then you're just like one-hit KOing back-to-back V-Stars, and you just need to find your last 2 prize cards after that. And at that point, you can make them, once Rahul hits the first Mew, then you just retreat it, and you know they're playing boss next turn, which once again plays into I can't be Marnie Path next turn, because you know they have to boss KO your Mew VMAX, or they literally lose the game, so... But yeah, it sets up the Meloetta. Like I said, you want to get the most value out of your Fusion Strike energy. This is like the biggest part about this deck that I think most people don't understand is that you need people to respect your Fusion Strike energy, and you also need to make it as hard as possible for them to do anything about your Fusion Strike energy. And John's going to get the KO here. I mean, probably on the active, might have the boss for the KO on the benched Arceus here. Gets the Oricorio down, but that's not going to do very much. It's fine to put Oricorio down now because you're attacking with Meloetta, which means they're going to KO Meloetta, and you'll probably be able to evolve the Mew V to a VMAX. So then it's like fine to put Oricorio down here because the Meloetta is going to get KO'd and you have a new bench base for a new Mew V. So Oricorio down here isn't terrible for the situation, but actually ends up just whiffing everything and passing. And this kind of goes back to that early sequencing of when we saw an Ultra Ball discard a Quick Ball, I think. Now the hand is clogged again, right? And that's why it's super important with Mew. I don't think I'm going to be able to go find this here. But early on in this game, game 2, I'm pretty sure John discarded an Ultra Ball with a Quick Ball or a Quick Ball with an Ultra Ball. And the reason you don't do that is because now look at this hand. It is all clogged up with dead cards, and you have no way to discard them. If you had just Quick Ball or Ultra Ball something else, then you would be able to now still have an Ultra Ball or Quick Ball and keep moving those dead cards out of the hand. It seems like John doesn't play Cramomatic, which I also don't recommend for the reason that, well, you end up with like situations like this where there's some battle VIP passes in here. I think I seen you don't have ways to discard them. Like you just need to discard cards in Mew. That's like what the deck's draw engine is Genesect, and to draw cards with Genesect, you need less cards in your hand. And now we see Rahul abusing the fact that it's going to be really easy to get a knockout here on Fusion Strike energy, and is going to go boss KO the Mew or the Meloetta, and has the path to back it up as well. So path, I don't even know if you have to path here as Rahul, to be honest, but you probably should. Because John's hand is basically dead, so this might be kind of a wasted path. Like I'm not a huge fan of this path here because John just had a brick of a hand, and one of the things John wouldn't be able to play is a Stadium card, so you're maybe just opening John's hand up on the next turn. Like John drew 1 card off 1 Genesect, I think, on that turn. Maybe 2 cards off 1 Genesect, but I think he only used 1 Genesect that turn. So I don't even know if this path is worth it here as Rahul. Maybe you should just save it for future turns. You're so far ahead at this point as Rahul, and you'll have 2 more turns to play your last 2 paths throughout the game. So it's maybe better to just hold this here because actually you're maybe just opening up John's hand a little bit more than it should be being opened here. Also by taking a knockout, you're doing that, but you do want to remove those Fusion Strike energy from play. But they're always like an Ultra Ball top deck away from being able to do stuff. So I guess it's like, yeah. And see, there's the Stadium play. There's a basic play. Now an energy comes down, and I guess like John would have been able to play the Rose Tower this turn anyways, but they have to bump their own stadium, so you're effectively just like running them out of stadiums without playing your own stadiums, which is nice. So yeah, I'm not sure I love the path to the peak play. Like it just felt like kind of unnecessary. You were just so far ahead, and then potentially, and there's an Ultra Ball now. Gets rid of the Battle VIP passes. Get some Mew VMAX. And I mean, hopefully has wants to play for the boss KO on the bench. The thing is, like, John just can't. I mean, yeah, John's just in a bad spot. John just can't knock out a V-Star anymore, I'm pretty sure. It's like pretty much do everything. Down double Fusion Strike energy, has the boss, so brings up the Arceus, but needs a modifier still, and is down quite a few. Still has the Choice Belts left, though, so hopefully can pull off the knockout here at least. Yeah, there's a Choice Belt, so gets the knockout here, but is still in a pretty rough spot. Doesn't have another Mew to attack with quite yet. Needs to build up energy on that. I don't think there's DTEs in this list, but I'm actually not sure. All right, gets an escape rope, got something else off there. Of course, if Rahul benches another... Ooh, there's the Sydney, okay. But there's the Stadium. Yeah, nothing. There's double Peony in the hand. Is that double Peony in the hand? I think it's double Peony in the hand. So there's nothing to discard here for Rahul. Immediately Snap played the Sydney. I'm curious to see what the rest of Rahul's hand is that he Snap played Sydney like that. I think is maybe grabbing a path to the peak, but they have a Peony in hand. Although if they play Peony, they could double cross switcher actually still. So they could double cross switcher KO and Arceus V on the bench. Rahul could here. It's hard to make the guess that your opponent doesn't play Echoing Horn, because pretty much everyone plays Echoing Horn. Because Rahul could just like not bench this here, to be honest, and then just kind of hit with the Arceus and force him to hit this. Because all of a sudden right now, Rahul opens up the opportunity for John to go, Gust KO Arceus V, and then Echoing Horn Gust win the game. But if Rahul makes John hit this Arceus V-Star, then you're probably in a pretty good spot as Rahul. So I don't hate the idea of actually like making that happen, because he plays the cross switchers at this point. You've seen them. Gets a little draw off the Rose Tower, and then just goes with a hit. 1 water to the bench Arceus. So yeah, I don't want to hate it if Rahul just didn't bench his Arceus, because now John can go Gust knockout, Echoing Horn Gust knockout. I don't actually think John plays the Echoing Horn, but Rahul doesn't know that. So Yeah, I don't hate just hitting with this and just forcing your opponent to hit the V-Star. Because the thing is just never getting KO'd, I don't think. I think John's burned multiple tablet and is down a decent amount of Fusion Strike energy. So I don't think this thing's ever getting KO'd at 310. So, and also John would have to have like a switch card to reset or set up the other Mew with 2 energy, which is pretty unlikely to happen, I think. I don't know. We'll probably see the Peony this turn, though, from John. And then probably go for the cross switcher play. And then the question is just, does John play Echoing Horn, I think, for the most part here. There's an escape rope, so the Drizzile comes up. But John definitely needs to KO that Arceus V on the bench. Like, John can't afford to hit the Arceus V-Star, I don't think. That's what I'm saying. Like, John needs a target, a 2-prize target, and Rahul kind of gave it to them. Ultra Ball's a double Peony, so it's not going to be using the Peony this turn, but might have a cross switcher in hand, and maybe that's why John's not using the Peony this turn. And wants to just draw into the other cross switcher, which I definitely like. Yeah, it has a cross switcher in hand, it looks like. Genesect number 1 for 3. I see a Fog Crystal. I see something else. Gonna burn Fog here. It might have a basic energy to put on the other Mew. Looks like they do. So yeah, they're definitely looking for the KO on the Arceus V here for sure. Goes with the Sparkle. There should be a Fusion Strike energy left. Yeah, and it is going to be attached to the active here. And then they're trying to find Cross Switcher. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for a Cross Switcher. And didn't want a Peony for it either, because they want to hold the one in the hand. Mew VMAX, another 3 cards to be drawn. Oh, wait, they might have it here, actually. I think they have the Cross Switchers in hand. There we go, Cross Switchers on the Arceus. And once again, like, Rahul didn't have to give John this target. Rahul didn't have to give John this target of this Arceus V. I think Rahul could have just left the V-Star on the active and been like, okay, hit. And then force the extra hit into a V-Star there. Because now John just wins with Echoing Horn Gust, right? I don't think John plays Echoing Horn, so it might not end up mattering. But that is like a possibility here. And then also the other way that this board state could develop, because Rahul knows that their Sharon's Care is prized, that if Rahul hits with this V-Star next turn to knock out this Mew, I don't think Rahul can boss KO a Genesect in the current board state. With Big Charm on the Arceus V-Star and the DTE, they're doing 180. With Oricorio in play, it's 160, so they're 30 damage off. So I guess they'd have to get out quick. So if Rahul gets out quick shooting this turn and then goes, I guess they have Goon as well. So it actually is possible for Rahul to get the Genesect KO in 2 turns. And the biggest thing here is just once again, does John play, what's it called? Burns a tablet here. Oh, so they can attack with the bench, and this is actually really good from John too. Attack with the bench, the Mew VMAX here, because that makes it awkward for Rahul. Because now Rahul has to go boss this turn and then boss next turn as well. If they hit the Mew this turn, then they have to get the KO too. There's the Shady Dealings Inteleon. And I guess Rahul does have Zigzagoon left, so if Rahul has both Scoop of Nets, then you don't actually need to use Quick Shooting actually as well. You could have the Goon plus double net as well. Peep at the discard pile. But once again, John could win first. John can always win first here if John plays Echoing Horn. So that's kind of like, no matter what, John gets to win the game first. So Shady Dealings for Quick Ball. And looking at a Big Charm. Goes with a Marnie. Quick Ball probably for another Arceus. Okay, so puts another Arceus in play. So this is kind of giving it to John here on Rahul's side. But Rahul is going with the Marnie, so you kind of have to put another attacker in play here. And has the Path. So has the Path Marnie play. Is finally able to pull off Path Marnie. John does not get to sit on the hand that they built up and have been working with the last couple turns. That's what you ideally want to do here as John. I see a Goon in the hand from Rahul and a Quick Ball. Thinking about Quick Balling the Goon. Quick Balls the Goon. Grabs a Sobble. And then there's the hit. No water energy left, so I wonder if it was even worth it to grab that Arceus there then. I guess you can Melanie to it still, get a DTE, and then retreat into a fresh Arceus. So it is still probably worth to get that Arceus V in play. So now John just wins with a Gust Effect. Let's see if John has a Gust Effect. Draw for turn. There is a Path in play. And at the very least, John should probably at least hit the active here. Because if Rahul has Charon's Care, that's kind of fine. I guess they could, like, Rahul could go into like a Charon's Care play. Doesn't look like John has much. So there's the retreat, and it's gonna be a hit with Mew. So the only thing that can come up weird with this play is Rahul could play Charon's Care, pick up this Arceus, send up the Inteleon, and then scoop up net the Sobble. on the next turn, or the Inteleon on the next turn, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then go down to a board state of only an Arceus in play after drawing KOs the Sobble or the Inteleon. So this does become weird for John. The other play John could have made would just be like retreat to Oricorio pass, which I don't hate. But then you kind of just risk Rahul having boss and winning the game. And does have a Sobble in play, so like it is a possibility of that. But it would come down to like checking Rahul's discard pile for sure and seeing like how many boss are down. You can probably guess they play 2 boss, and then they play the Palpad from seeing it in game 1. So then you could also check for Palpad as well and be like, do they even have the out? Plays the tablet as well here from John. I don't love just wasting tablets, but I think that tablet is probably useless here. Melanie top deck from Rahul, or maybe had it in the hand, to be honest, and maybe can set up another Arceus V-Star here. If not, probably has to run away to a Sobble. So it looks like 1 boss was in the discard pile, but did find the Palpad. So now can Palpad for the boss, and I don't know what else you want to grab here. Maybe boss. Oh, it looks like maybe boss. So now you did actually know Rahul was down both boss. You did actually know Rahul was down both boss here. So, and they would have to find the Palpad. So if I was John there, I actually don't hate maybe retreating to Oricorio. But then you're hoping that the other V-Star doesn't become a V-Star. I guess you have to hit the active, though, actually. I take it back. You kind of have to hit the active here and hope they just don't have that. Sharon's Care play. Got back a boss and something else. I didn't see what the other card was. Oh, and Rahul just ends up scooping. So we go to game 3 with 7 minutes left. Was that game over? I feel like Rahul still could have won that. And let me go back real fast. Why was that game? Why was that game scooped? Was Rahul out of energy? Oh, I think Rahul was out of energy. Okay, I think Rahul was out of energy. Maybe. I think Rahul was maybe out of energy. Yo, appreciate the 5 gifted there. Big B over to Rico. Mark the real Sunny Games, Milky Dew, and Rose Emperor. Appreciate welcome all to the pack. We're all out of goldfish. We got plenty of rice cakes. Okay, I think Rahul was actually out of DTEs at that point, so it makes sense. You couldn't attack with the next Arceus anyways, so let's skip ahead to price check. Bidoof is prized. Okay, if you had to see the B barrel get set up, which is kind of sad. And then 1 Crosser, 1 Fusion Strike Energy is prized, but it's in the early prize cards here, so it's not that big of a deal. 1 Stadium is locked in the top half. That's kind of unfortunate. And then Rahul, there's nothing really too big prize for Rahul. The Palpat and the Bidoof are like the early prize cards, which is like pretty big. Like it's big that they're in the early prize cards, like they're not in the late prize cards, because all the stuff that's in the late prize cards is kind of like whatever. The Stadium's unfortunate, and the Fusion Strike Energy in the early prize cards as well, so that's also like fine here for John. So Rahul will finally get to go first. Gets a quick ball. Open the Crobat, which is not a great starting Pokemon. Gets out the Arceus, though, and discarded a Water Energy, so probably has another energy to attach for turn. There's only 5 minutes left in the round, though. So there's not a lot of time to play with for either player. This isn't like a game where either player can kind of turbo win. Does not get, so this is a huge opportunity for John. Does not, on Rahul's side, does not get another Arceus down. So John can pull off the double cross switcher or the escape rope knockout on this Arceus, and that would be like a pretty big swing. And actually, if John does get that with the Crobat in play, I wouldn't be that surprised for John to actually get the win here. And this time, I like John getting the Meloetta. This is when you want to grab Meloetta aggressively, right here. And then probably going to grab another two Genesects. Unfortunately, the last Genesect is prized. This is actually another situation where this is where you can go quad Genesect. When like the game's not going to last very long and you just really want to get that knockout on the bench Pokemon. So like quad Genesect is like fine. But goes with Oricorio instead. I think I would have liked to have seen... No, I guess if you're attacking with Meloetta... Well, if you're theoretically attacking Meloetta first, I wouldn't have hated to see like another Mew, to be honest. Yeah, I would not have hated to see another Mew. Oh, there's the escape rope already as well. Double tablets. Wow, that's an incredible start there from John. And already drew into a Fusion Strike Energy as well. And was that also Elsa's Sparkle? So that's actually a crazy good draw here. Already has the Fusion Strike Energy. Is basically fully set up. Has double cross switcher in hand. Oh man, you don't want to lose those. I don't like discarding the double cross switcher there. Maybe you kind of have to. Maybe you just need to really dig for this knockout. But the cross switchers are your way to actually close out the game in enough time. So I don't love the... Drew into a Fusion Strike Energy. And with 1 prize, this means actually John can't actually get the KO here. So John is actually unable to get the KO here now. Whether or not John knows that from checking the prize cards or not, I'm not sure, but it's actually a pretty big deal. Yeah, now John actually can't get the knockout because he drew into a Fusion Strike Energy before drawing into the Elsa Sparkle. And drew into another one. So really unfortunate draws there for John. Not going to be able to get this turn 1 knockout. Has the only 2 other Fusion Strike Energy in the hand. Retreats to a Genesect and pass. So probably has a switch card in hand to be able to move that over to Rahul. Gets out the Arceus, gets the water. Here comes the Star Birth. And looks like it's probably going to go with like a Research and a Path. That seems fine. Definitely want to potentially stop your opponent from being able to do anything on the next turn, because just basically at this point, like, the more actions John takes, the more likely this is a tie. So in some situations, I guess you could maybe argue it's best to hold the path for later situations and be like, well, they probably have a Stadium in hand here. I'm going to wait to combo with a Marnie or something like that. But in this situation, you definitely just want to grab path and hope that they don't have an answer for it, which you can kind of always do, I guess. But I guess it's more important in this situation because you just don't want John to take actions. Even if John ends up going like draw for turn, use all 3 Genesects, pass. If they use the Genesects, that eats up time on the clock. So you really just want them to not do anything. So it's pretty important for Rahul to see John do absolutely nothing. And you see how, you see how fast Rahul is trying to play now too. Just trying to make sure like has like a situation where they can actually end up winning this game. Not a ton of options from Rahul either. No Sobble got down. So no Shady Dealings options. Has the Charon's Care in hand. Has a boss as well. And now with 180 on this Genesect, you can just kind of goon ping it. You don't even need a build up to the quick shooting. And it wasn't just a draw pass from John. There's the boss on the Meloetta. Gonna knock that out. So draw a prize card there. I almost, to be honest, if you know that John's just dead drawing here as Rahul, and you know you don't have that much time left, I don't hate boss another Genesect and just punch it for 180 to set up for a goon play. I guess you do risk a Fusion Strike Energy making its way into one of the Genesects, and you do risk Meloetta 1-hit KOing you, but now you're only drawing 1 prize card this turn instead of 2, so I don't hate just kind of boss trapping another Genesect for a turn, to be honest. If it worked last turn, it could work this turn, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if it worked last turn, it could work this turn. It really depends on how much time if you know how much time is left or not, and you think you have enough time. Another Fusion Strike Energy comes down to the Mew. Retreat to another Genesect and pass. Well, it looks like Rahul can do that play anyways to try and trap this Genesect and play as well. Just needs to find the Zigzagoon at this point. There's the level ball. There's a Sobble, but doesn't need to actually get the Zigzagoon this turn. And can just go for a hit for 180, and then next turn go like Goon Ping, boss KO the Oricorio. So it's still setting up well here and they are not even in time yet, so they haven't even gotten to turn. So there's plenty of turns left for actually Rahul to close this one out. Peony discards a hand. Gonna get an escape rope and a training court. Escape rope is basically useless here though. Like, not useless, but you're not getting rid of like Rahul can still attack next turn. So like Rahul can give up anything here. And probably gonna give up the Crobat. Could give him an Arceus and just be like, you can't KO my Arceus probably. And I don't think that's what Rahul is going with. Just kind of give your opponent no opportunity to potentially like pop off and win the game. But I think John has gone through so many resources at this point, it just doesn't matter. Double Tablet's gone, double Cross Switcher's gone, 2 or 3 Fusion Strike Energy are gone as well. Like, it's just the chance for John to win this game is basically impossible now that the Arceuses are like established. Another Tablet gets played. Yeah, we can see Rahul go with like double Goon, Boss KO, or Oricorio next turn. We'll see what Rahul has in the hand. Yep, there's a hit. Draw, Shady Dealings. Let's see if there's the boss in the deck, because I think there's an Ultra Ball in the hand to get the Goon. Well, there's a Goon. So it has the Goon. I don't know about the boss. Goes with a retreat to the other Arceus. Training Court's 1 back. Melanie for 3. So it does not have the boss here. Goon Ping, double net Goon Ping. Wait, how much HP did the thing have left? Did I miscount? I think I miscounted there. I must have miscounted. So, oh, because of the Oricorio damage. Yeah, so needed quite a bit more, actually. Palpad's the boss back. So then the other Genesect can be... Oh, no, the other Genesect actually has 30 HP left. Path, and then hit the active. But Rahul does only have 3 prize cards left, so just has to 2-hit KO this Mew and then wins the game. They're in turns now. So John has to look for a Psychic Leap play to just kind of survive, but actually can't attack with the active Mew VMAX right now because it needs a switch card. So there's no way John ever wins. So at this point, John is playing for a tie. So John has to make it so Rahul can't draw prize cards. So he has to make it as hard as possible for Rahul to draw prize cards at this point. So John wants to go with like Psychic Leap, Maybe boss up Crobat. I don't know. Do something weird. Like, you just gotta like get your 3 prize Pokemon out of play, basically. But then I think it is still... No, I think Rahul's out of nets now. So Rahul couldn't go like quick shooting plus Goonping knockout into boss KO 1 prize or so. So it has to go with a Psychic Leap play here, but it needs to... and goes with the boss on the Crobat. It needs to find a switch card, I think. I don't think has a switch card here. Okay, can they use Psychic Leap there? Didn't they use Techno Blast? I might be wrong on that, to be honest. I'm not sure they can use Psychic Leap there. I could be wrong on that. But didn't they use, what is that, 240? I'm pretty sure they used Techno Blast last turn, right? I don't think they can Psychic Leap there. Yeah, it was a Techno Blast, and they did not move the guy to the bench. So they're not allowed to Psychic Leap there. You're not allowed to actually Psychic Leap there. I don't know if they fix it, though. Let's see if they catch it. Oh, it looks like they do end up catching it, though. Yeah, it looks like they do end up catching it here. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they do end up catching it in the end. So Rahul does win 2-1.